All right, guys, why don't we get started while we wait for people to roll in? Let me get the chat open just so that I can see if anybody has questions. So see if you can just use one intentional breath to anchor yourself in this moment. You've been at this a while. You know where the meditative state is located. So just one breath to anchor yourself in this moment. To shift from your inward focus on all of your stories to just what's happening in this exact moment. Use your senses to take in the room. See the whole scene in front of you at once. Let your hearing reach out to take in every sound at once. And turn your volume on yourself way down so that you can really hear what's in front of you. Use your breath to deepen your awareness of this moment. You've been racing past it all day. Now it's time to stop. So that you can sink into what's actually present. What's here when you've stopped conjuring a false reality into existence? The beautiful message of the meditative state is that nothing actually has to get fixed for you to experience comfort and peace. For you to experience comfort and peace, all you have to do is let go of your perceptions of all of your personal stories and shift into this moment. can feel a couple of you just did it. And the fact that I can feel that means that when you shift into this moment, your peace actually expands outward. It impacts the people you're connected to. It strengthens something that can actually help in a world where so few things can. The sanity of stepping outside the story. Of just taking it off like a garment and letting it drop to the ground. So you can be in this clean moment. Let's just be there together for a while. You long for that moment where there's nothing to fix, where there's nothing you have to figure out. But that moment is just a simple shift in the attention. Not a single cycle has to get completed for you to actually experience the completion of that cycle. This moment is a moment of thriving completion. All you have to do is shift your attention. All you have to do is drop the story of incomplete. With the support of this energy and the support of each other, do it now. Just be done in this moment. And attend to what is. Attend to that which you don't have to hold in place with your thoughts. Use your breath to steady yourself. Steady as you attend to this moment. When you feel it stabilize, you can let go into it. When it starts to move and cycle again, you have to steady yourself. The cycles of life are designed to knock you off balance. Just like the waves in an ocean, but you can learn to surf those waves. When you're about to get knocked down, you can find your center so that you can stay standing. And if you deal with the waves that way, you'll be ready to go even deeper when the waves still, which they always do. You don't steady yourself by being rigid. You steady yourself by meeting the wave. By being present to whatever's present. And finding your stability in the face of it. Life is the ultimate training for that if you let it be. Meditation really is a pre-training. But you learn it here first. It doesn't mean that there isn't suffering. It doesn't mean that the waves become smaller. It's a shift in how you approach them. Rather than approaching through avoidance or a rigid powering through, you're just present and available for what's happening. And as you feel yourself getting knocked down, you find your center so that you can wade through the difficult moment. I take on a lot of challenges. My life has a lot of difficult moments. But I show up for them. I let them strengthen me. I don't walk away from them until I've learned what I need to learn from them. When you try to step into a silent mind, those waves become really apparent. And so it's a safe environment in which to face them. Not through thought, just through presence. Nothing to figure out, nothing to realize. It's more kinesthetic. Even when the stillness has come, there's the wave of the breath. Those moments of transition between the in-breath and the out-breath become a big transition. If you're present for the in-breath, in those moments you have to prepare to be present for the out-breath too. And in doing so, your consciousness opens up to something completely beyond the story of your life. Something you can explore that is beyond words. I'd have to dumb it down to talk about it, and it wouldn't do you any good. You experience it in those moments where you find your stability and retain that stability. You transcend the waves of the story. And you become aware of the vast backdrop in which it's all occurring. this whole parade from cradle to grave that we attach so much to. You're something bigger than that. And this is how you come to see it. This life that's just a pageant of themes. You're something bigger than that. You don't have to annihilate it to see that. You just have to find your center and stop being a puppet for the waves. Crying when life tells you to cry. Laughing when life tells you to laugh. Worrying when life tells you to worry. You expand beyond it. You can still cry, you can still laugh. But you're something bigger than that. And it becomes apparent as you find your center in the face of these ceaseless fluctuations of life. The stillness in the center of the fluctuations. You steady yourself. the stillness build in you. It builds and it heals the body-mind complex. Ironically, it heals the story-producing machinery. But it also zeroes everything out so that you can start from scratch. Make different decisions within the cycles that are already set in motion. So let it build in you. Let it flood through you. Resonate with stillness. As you watch, listen, and feel in this moment, yourself a favor and let go of time. I'll make sure we end at a reasonable time, but you let go of it. Sit in this way as if you've always been sitting in this way, as if you will always be sitting in this way. Surrender to it so that you can really experience it. It takes 100% of you. And you can't give that if you're waiting for the end moment. Let go of time. Because in doing so, you become available for the fundamental realization. There's something waiting there for you in timelessness. You have to completely open up within it, though. Don't save any breath for the swim back to shore. Just throw yourself wide open. waves have stopped. Don't fall asleep within the stillness. This is where you can see the most. Open, watch, listen, feel. Because the waves will return. There's a whole spectrum of experience between this complete surrender and being lost in the story of a human experience. The idea is not to live in a state of annihilation, but to bring the clarity of that reality into the story. The story produces the waves, and you will have learned to stand centered in the face of those waves. Which means you're able to go into places that you were scared to go before. To grow into ways of being that you were scared to be before. A spiritual warrior can't have places that they're unable to go. If they do, those places stay just kind of stuck and create their own waves from underneath the surface of the water. That's why people like me take on challenges in the world. I walk into very difficult situations, and we're not talking Mother Teresa situations, we're talking worldly situations. But I do it because at some point I saw a part of myself that was scared to go there. I feel at this point like I've unearthed all of that, but I know from experience there's probably stuff there that I haven't seen. But by continuing to unearth, you strengthen your stability. You strengthen that ability to stabilize yourself when everything around you is shaking. Which means that while everybody else is running scared, you're actually learning and growing. Using this pageantry of life, this trek from cradle to grave, to stabilize that awareness of yourself that is bigger than that. So your problems are fine. Your problems are not real problems. I should say your problems are not really problematic. Except as maybe you haven't faced them yet. Your personal power is waiting on the other side of that problem. As soon as you're ready to face it, you'll become something you could not have become without having had that problem. So use the skills that you learn in this training to start facing those things. Start with the small ones and build up. Find the stillness with and without the waves. I'd like you to focus on that this week. Spend time this week really finding the stillness within yourself. Notice when it's easy. Notice when it's hard. And when it's hard, stand up and find your center within the hard. Use your breath to stabilize yourself. And go deep into the stillness of that moment. That moment has stillness too. Any good experience you've ever had from coming to this class exists within the worst moment of your life, if you can just find the stillness within it. And if you think you can't, then you don't understand what we do here every week. You guys come in with all sorts of noise and waves. I have some of my own. And by just directing your attention, we all step into the stillness despite everything that's happening in our lives and in the world. So yes, you can do it. Work on that this week. All right, guys. I'm going to head out. I will see you next week. Unless there are any questions, I'm happy to answer questions.
Thank you so much, Liam. It's so much every week. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And it's such a pleasure to be here and see you all. Thank you.
So glad you're here, Joanna. All right, everybody. I will see you in a week.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.